Okay. Adding and subtracting polynomials. What does polynomial mean? You have no idea. That's a good place to start. All right. So, what does poly mean? Multiple, many, right? Anyone know what nomial means?
Nomial?
Numbers. Many numbers. Polynomials are many numbers. They're basically, here's something that I have. This would be called a binomial because it has how many terms? 1, 2 terms. This would also be called a binomial because it has 1, 2 terms. Something with one term we would call a monomial. And then we have things like this. What do you think we would call this? Trinomial, because there are 3 terms. Okay. We're not going to get too wrapped up in what they're called, but we are going to be adding and subtracting them. Okay. So I start off with just binomials, and then I start getting into longer ones and possibly more than one. Okay. What we're going to do is step 1. Do you like a step 1, step 2, step 3? Here we go. Step 1, get rid of parentheses. That's step 1. Step 2, combine like terms. What are like terms?
Like numbers and then letters.
Okay. They're going to have matching letters, and not only matching letters, but matching exponents on those letters. Okay, and then finally step 3, put in what we call standard form. Okay, so those are the 3 steps we're going to do for every single one of these problems. Okay. You got those written down? Still working on it? Okay. So, step 1 says get rid of parentheses. How in the world do I get rid of parentheses? Usually I distribute what's outside, right? Well, what if there's nothing outside? What do I distribute? I need to know that there is technically a 1 out in front of each of these parentheses. And I'm going to distribute that 1. Is that going to change anything inside?
No.
Sometimes, but not always. And I'll show you when the sometimes comes up. So what's 1 times negative 2? Negative 2. What is 1 times 5x to the, 1 times negative 5x to the third? Negative 5x to the third. Done distributing there, right?
Yes.
What about 1 times negative 2 here? Negative 2. Positive times a negative stays a negative. And 1 times 4x to the third? Positive 4x to the third. Step 2 says what? Combine like terms. Now, I can do step 2 and step 3 actually at the same time. Let me explain what standard form is. Standard form means that whatever has the highest exponent comes first, and then you count down from there. So in these terms, I have a couple of like terms. I think I have a like term, the negative 5x to the third is a like term with what?
4x.
Positive 4x to the third. What else is like terms?
Negative 2 and negative 2.
Negative 2 and negative 2. Do you see how I underlined it differently?
Yeah.
To show that those two go together and not with the first ones. So when I combine my like terms, I want to combine the one that has the highest exponent first. Which one would that be? The one with x to the third, right? Has the highest exponent. So how do I combine like terms? I just add their coefficients, the numbers in front. So negative 5x to the third plus 4x to the third. What's negative 5 plus 4? Negative 1 x to the third. We leave the variable the same. We leave the letter on the variable the same. Yes.
Do you have to put a 1?
Good question. Do I have to put a 1? No. I just have negative x to the third. All right, so I don't need to write the negative 1. I can just write negative x to the third. Now, if I combine the other like terms, I have negative 2 and negative 2. What do I get when I have negative 2 plus negative 2?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. This is standard form because the biggest exponent comes first, so that's what my answer looks like. Oh, sorry. There you go. Had to unfreeze you. So my exponent comes first, that means I've got it in standard form. Okay? By the way, this adding and subtracting stuff, we're going to spend today and tomorrow on it. On Friday, you will have a quiz on adding and subtracting. Okay? The quiz will not include what we do on Thursday, which is a little different. But today and tomorrow, this stuff is what your quiz is on Friday. There are 10 questions on the quiz, and it's all stuff like this. Okay? All right. So, moving on to number 2. Step 1, get rid of the parentheses. What do I do to get rid of the parentheses?
You distribute.
Distribute what?
1.
A 1. So I'm going to put a 1 here and a 1 here. So let's see. 1 times 8 is what?
8.
1 times 2k is 2k, positive 2k. 1 times k to the 4th is positive k to the 4th. What do you notice about the next 1 that I'm distributing? It's a negative 1. So that is going to change something. When I'm distributing just a 1, it doesn't change stuff, but a negative 1, that is going to change. What's it going to change?
The negative.
The signs. What's a negative 1 times a negative 5k?
Positive 5k.
Positive 5k. And what's negative 1 times positive 7k to the 4th?
Negative 7k to the 4th.
Whoops, yep, negative 7k to the 4th. Sorry about the positive there. So now let's look at like terms. What kind of like terms do I have?
All the,
I have k to the 4th. Are those like terms with 2k and 5k? But they all have k's.
yeah, but that's what
They have to have matching exponents too. So 2k will combine with what? 5k. And then 8's a loner. Nobody to combine with him. So as I combine my like terms, let's put our answer in standard form. So I'm going to start off with whatever has the highest exponent, which is what? K to the 4th and negative 7k to the 4th. So what's positive 1 minus 7? Negative 6k to the 4th. What am I going to put next? Am I going to put the 8 or am I going to combine the 2k and the 5k? 2k and the 5k. What's 2k plus 5k? Why do I put that before the plus 8? Well, what's the exponent here? Technically, it's got an exponent of 1, and then that one doesn't even have a k. He's got to go all the way at the end. Okay? So there's my answer. Not too bad? All we do from there to make it more difficult, if you will, is add more terms. That's the only thing that makes it difficult. So, moving on to number 3, what do I do?
Put a 1 distribute.
Put a 1 and start distributing. What's 1 times negative 8v to the 4th? Negative 8v to the 4th. What is 1 times 5v to the 3rd? Positive 5v to the 3rd. What am I distributing there? Negative 1 times negative 3v is what? Positive 3v. What is negative 1 times positive v to the 4th? Negative 5v to the 4th. Negative 1 times positive 3v to the 3rd. Negative 3v to the 3rd. So far, so good? Now I identify what? Like terms. So let's see, I have a negative 8v to the 4th. What's that going to combine with? Negative 5v to the 4th. I have positive 5v to the 3rd. What's that going to combine with? Negative 3v to the 3rd. Last thing I have is positive 3v, and he's got nobody to combine with, right? So what am I going to combine first for standard form? The negative 8 and the negative 5. What does that get me? Negative 13v to the 4th. Now, sometimes I find it helpful to cross them out after I've combined them, so that way I'm not looking at them over and over again when I'm looking for the others. What am I going to combine next? Does it matter if I do the 3v next or the v to the thirds? I must do which ones? V to the thirds, because higher exponents always have to come before lower exponents. So what is 5v to the third and negative 3v to the third? Positive 2v to the third. And then the only thing left is positive 3v. There's my answer in standard form. So? Okay. How about number 4? Talk me through it. What do I do?
Distribute.
Distribute what?
6p.
No.
1.
What's in front of the parentheses would be a 1. So 1 times 6p is
6p.
6p. 1 times negative 2p to the 4th, negative 2p to the 4th. And 1 times negative 7. Okay. What am I distributing here? Positive 1. 1 times 7. 1 times negative 3p to the 4th. And then 1 times 7p to the 4th. I'm sorry, p to the 3rd. Positive 7p to the 3rd. All right, like terms. What are my like terms? 6p is all by its lonesome. Negative 2p to the 4th. Are there any others? Yep. Okay. Negative 7. It's going to go with that guy. And then 7p to the 3rd. He's all by himself, isn't he? All right, what am I going to write first? P to the 4th. So negative 2p to the 4th and negative 3p to the 4th. What does that give me? Negative 5p to the 4th. And I'm going to cross those guys out so I don't get mixed up with them. What's going to come next? P to the 3rd has to come next. So I have plus 7p to the 3rd, because the 3rd power would come right after the 4th power. What comes next? Plus 6p. And then last comes whatever doesn't have an exponent. But what do you notice about these two? Because negative 7 plus 7 is 0, they just cancel each other out. And that's my answer right there. So? All right. I want you to take a minute and try 5, 6, and 7. Take a minute and work through 5, 6, and 7 on your own. All right. So number 5, let's see if you got these right. Number 5, what am I going to put in front of the parentheses? 1. So 1 times 8v to the 3rd is 8v to the 3rd. 1 times 4v to the 2nd is 1 times negative 8 is 1 times negative 5v to the 4th is. Does it matter that there were more terms in this first parentheses? No. Just means I distribute a few more times and I might have a few more terms to look through when I'm looking for like terms. 1 times 6v to the 3rd is, okay, 1 times negative 2, 1 times 6v to the 2nd. All right, now we got to look for like terms. So let's see. Here's 8v to the 3rd. Are there any other v to the 3rds? Yes, so those two are going to go together. 4v to the 2nd. Are there any other v to the 2nds? Over here. Negative 8. Any others that go with that? Negative 2. And then negative 5v to the 4th. Nothing with that one. All right, what do I write first? Negative 5v to the 4th. Why? The exponent is the highest. Next, I'm going to write what? the v to the thirds, because that's the next highest exponent. 8 and 6 are, so that's going to be plus 14 v to the third. Then what? V to the second. I have a 4 and I have a 6. That gives me 10 v to the second. And then finally negative 8 and negative 2. Do my exponents count down? Yep, all the way to the one with nothing. And I'm done right there. Raise your hand if you got that. Good, 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 good. All right, next one. Again, I'm putting my ones in front. 1 times negative 3x to the fourth is negative 3x to the fourth. 1 times negative 7x is negative 7x. And 1 times negative 4x squared is negative 4x squared. So far, so good? All right. 1 times negative 8x squared is negative 8x squared. 1 times negative 5x to the fourth is negative 5x to the fourth. 1 times negative 3x cubed is negative 3x cubed. And 1 times negative 2x is negative 2x. Let's find our like terms. I have negative 3x to the fourth. Any other x to the fourths? Right here, and that's it. Negative 7x, any x's? Over here. All right, x squared, any other x squareds? Here's one. And that's it. And then x to the third, that's the only one. What am I going to combine first? What has the highest exponent? X to the fourth. I'm not looking for the number that's the biggest in front. I'm looking for the number that's biggest up here. And that's my x to the fourth. So negative 3 and negative 5 is negative what? X to the fourth. So I have negative 8x to the fourth. What would come next?
X to the third.
X to the third. That guy's all by his lonesome, so negative 3x to the third. Then what? X squareds. Negative 4 and negative 8 is negative 12x squared. And then finally negative 7x and negative 2x is negative 9x. So far so good? Okay, next one. What do I put in front of the parentheses? Ones. Move it up here a little bit. All right, 1 times n. N. 1 times negative 7. 1 times 4n squared. Positive 4n squared. 1 times 8n cubed. Yep. All right, that one's done. 1 times negative 2. And 1 times 6n squared. Positive 6n squared. 1 times negative n to the third. And 1 times 5n. 5n. All right, let's look at like terms. Here's an n. Are there any others with just a plain n? Over here. Negative 7. Anything else without a letter? Negative 2. 4n squared. Anything with an n squared? N to the third. And I think that takes care of them all, yeah? All right, what am I going to put first? N to the third. So 8n to the third minus n to the third would give me 7n to the third. Okay, what's next? N squared. 4n to the second and 6n to the second would be 10n squared. Okay, what's next? N and 5n is 6n. And then finally negative 7 and negative 2 is negative 9. Okay. Okay, do you think 8 and 9 are going to be harder because there's an extra set of parentheses? It's going to be the exact same process. How do I get rid of the parentheses? Put a 1 in front of all of them. So here I'm distributing 1. 1 times 8m, negative 8m squared is what? Negative 8m squared. 1 times 8m to the third. Positive 8m to the third. Negative 1 times negative 2m squared. Negative times a negative is going to make that one a positive 2m squared. Negative 1 times positive m to the third. Negative m to the third. Now I'm distributing a positive again. So positive times negative 4m to the third, m to the fourth. Negative 4m to the fourth. And positive 1 times negative 2m to the third. Negative 2m to the third. Start looking for my like terms. I have an m to the second here. I have another m to the second. And it looks like that's it, right? M to the third. Here's another m to the third. There's another m to the third. And then finally I have m to the fourth, and he's all by himself. What am I going to write first? M to the fourth. And there's nobody to combine, so I have negative 4 m to the fourth. Okay, what do I combine next? M to the thirds, and I have 3 of them. So let's see, 8, and negative 1 is what? 7, and negative 2 is 5 m to the third total, and that's combining all 3 of those. And then finally I'm going to put my m to the second. So I have a negative 8m to the second and positive 2m to the second. That gives me negative 6m to the second. Capiche? Any questions on that one? All right, you try number 9. Last one, you try it. So the first 2 parentheses, nothing really changes, does it? It's only when you get back here, you start getting a negative 5, a positive 5n, and a positive 7n to the fourth. I'm going to go find my like terms. 6n and, 6n to the third. There's another 6n to the third, and that's it. Negative 3n squared. That's the only n squared, isn't it? Negative 7n to the fourth. There's another n to the fourth. Let's see. Negative 5 and negative 5. And then 5n is all by himself. What am I going to write first? Ooh, n to the third because the fourth cancels out. Because negative 7n to the fourth and positive 7n to the fourth is equal to 0. So those drop out. So then I have my n to the thirds. How many n to the third do I have total? 12 n to the third. What next? Minus 3n squared. What next? Plus 5n. And then I have negative 10 as my last term. Okay, so. All right, happy studying.